Welcome to Total Fitness Wednesday, and it's hit the floor is the name of today's routine. We'll find out why by the time the finish comes. Some of you may remember it before. Before we get there, we've got a kettlebell circuit and a dumbbell circuit. So obviously you're going to need a kettlebell. We're going to be doing some thrusters, some cleans, and some rows, some light dumbbells for the second circuit. I'll go through the details shortly. Let's get warmed up. Of course, we've got total mobility straight after as well today. Right, let's get seconds rest. We're doing a little descending set. So 3 sets on each of the 3, 2 sets on each of the 3, 1 set. Okay? So 6 sets total on each. So it all equals out. So particularly this first circuit, where there's a lot of one-sided unilateral kettlebell exercises, just make sure each time you come to it, the exercise is swapping sides. So you end up doing 3 on each side. Okay, so here's your 3 movements. Number 1 is thruster. Okay, every muscle involved in a thruster, heart, lungs, toes to fingertips, the lot. So you've got a good rack position, hand under chin. Okay, pulling the kettlebell in, the shoulder blade is pulled in tight. Okay, and you want a nice deep squat, deep as you can, up, and a press, all in one movement, okay? So, thruster, full squat, into a press, okay? And you're going to swap sides each round. We'll do 3 sets, so we'll do side 1, side 2, side 1 again, and then move on. So when we come back to the second round, you're going to start with it, side 2. Anyway, your second one, we're going to do single arm bent over rows. There's a lot of core sort of involvement here. If you really don't get on with these, you can do a staggered row. But we're doing the bent over row, so we want more core involvement. So you want to get a perfect hinge. Turn on your glutes. So you do that by pressing the knees out. So you feel that muscle there. Yeah, engage. Okay, your knees are soft, so you're not locked. Soft, and push down. Hips go back. Chest comes down, there you go, perfect hinge. Okay, you always make the sandwich, make sure you've got it right. Your hand sandwich, you feel your belly there, and your quads there, like the bread, yeah? And then you kettlebell it between your feet, and then, do a double grip there, single grip, okay, into the waist, into the waist, into the waist, okay? So it's a little bit harder than doing a staggered version where you've got that support. There's a lot more core involvement. Okay, again with that one, side 1, side 2, keep swapping every time you come to it. Swap. Exercise 3, you're going to squat thrust to a clean, and then back. So what you're doing, kettlebell between the heels there, out, back in, rack it, and then place it back. Okay, hands down, out, in. There, practice that clean. Look, elbows doing this, and the kettlebell's doing that. Okay? I say a good practice for a clean is to actually just start there and just throw it. If you're going to get it down to your waist, you just do this though. Just reverse that. Yeah? It's always, it's good practice to start at the top. I don't mean now, I mean you've got sometimes where you want to perfect the clean. Have it there, just throw it through your thigh triangle. And all you're doing is just reversing that. Anyway, swapping each round with that one as well. That's your 3 then. So, thrusters, single arm row, squat thruster clean. Okay? Right. It's 18 sets. 18 sets in total. The next one is your thrust. First one, sorry, is your thruster. Okay. Right, get ready there.
I get lost all the time.
Right, here we go. Go on, 10 seconds. Exercise 3. Squat thrust. Come on there. Let's go. Right, switch. Okay.
It starts with one. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to stay on, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to stay on, but in the end. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to stay on, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to stay on, but in the end. It doesn't even matter. It starts with one. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to stay on, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to stay on, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Come on, last one. Right, and the rest of the dumbbells can go back. Now, the infamous finisher, hit the floor. Right, I think what we'll do, we're going to work in pairs here. We're more or less good. What I'll do, Jackie, you can work me today. You can do the front. And then John, if you come up where Jackie is and work the ball, with Gloria, you go to the back where John was and work the reps. And then you're all in perfect pairs. Then Jake and Tom, you two go as fast as Colin, please, Jake. You two. How's she going? Just match me then.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you know. Okay, so. Right, this is what's going to happen. And it's really simple. See you later. Now, at home. Okay, unless you've got a very clever dog, cat, you're going to have to work by yourself. So, use me as a gauge, okay? Okay, so. All you're doing is this. This is why you need to keep your kettlebell out. So hit the floor. The track plays, the Prodigy Classic, smack like a jump that, about 6.5 minutes. Okay? In your pairs, one of you is doing 6, I say 6, if you're a little bit slower, you can take that down to 4 or 5, whatever suits you. You don't want to be making your partner work for too long, okay? So 6 is a rough guide. You might choose 5, you might choose 4. Okay? So, going down, hit the floor. 1, so you're going really low. 6 of them, shout your partner, done, whatever, your turn, as long as they can hear you. And then they do the same. Now while you're doing that, and while they're doing that, each of you are doing kick over. So you're hitting the floor, heels, over, kettlebell, tap, tap, tap. That's what you're doing while you wait. Okay? So if you're at home, you've got 2 choices. You can either do 6 burpees and then 24 kick overs. That's about the time scales on each that you're probably looking at. Or you can use me as your gauge. Okay? And Jack can come here, I'll move into them now. You can use me as your gauge. When I do burpees, you do burpees, and vice versa. If you want to do that, you can do that. Okay. 6 burpees. Yeah, 6 real or 5 or 4, whatever suits you. If it's taking too long, bear in mind your partner's going to be in some pain doing those. So just bear that in mind. Okay? Right. So all you need to do is decide who's going first. You've got you 2 at the back, you 2 at the back, you 2 there. So you just work alongside me, you guys. Perfect, right. Okay, bear with me there, we'll go. Right. I'll go first for the burpees then, okay? I'll go to the burpees. So if you're working alongside me, we're doing burpees first. 6, and then obviously another 1. It's about 6.5 minutes. It's quite long. Okay? Right, so tap overs, 6 burpees every time. Keep swapping with your partner. Okay, so you ready? 3, 2. No more smacking Mitchell. We're doing the opposite now. Relax. Let the muscle fibers go. Okay, back in 2 minutes. Total numbers in half an hour. Keep stretch. Well done, everybody. Great job.